Hey guys, this is Coach Owen Shott. I'm doing an overview of the Asheville Gran Fondo for the National Championships. A little history, I won this race or event in 2019, so I've done the course a couple times, very familiar with it. It's a pretty awesome event with tons of climbing. There's going to be 3 different routes. The map you're seeing now is doing an overview of the 96-mile course. So this will be all the segments, all the ups and downs, all the pretty cool towns that you get to run through as you're going along the course. So there will be 3 distances. There'll be a 96-mile, a 60-mile, and a 30 miles. What I'm going to do is go through the segments and break them down how I would ride them as if I was going into this event, as a beginner or even as a seasoned veteran, that has done the event before or has done other events. Here's what's going on with the wind. So we're going to have a wind coming out of the northeast for the majority of the ride. That's just something to be aware of. Find places to hide, conserve energy, especially when you're on the course. Here we are, we're going to go into our first segment. It starts off pretty easy, or pretty early, I guess I should say, within the route. So you barely even get out of Asheville and you got the first segment. So it's a 3.5 mile segment, pretty quick. I think you'll see some pretty fast speeds on the ups and downs. The goal I would shoot for here is trying to find a good sized group that you can ride with, that you can maintain high speeds and get through this segment as fast as possible. As you can see, there is a little bit of uphill it starts with. You might want to try to start at the front of the group and then sag back as you go, and then on the downhills maybe move forward. But as you go along, it does kind of pop out at the end there, so it is a little bit of an uphill finish, but for the majority of it, it is pretty flat. You'll have a pretty good little break period or some downhill period before you go into the next segment. It's a good opportunity to be fueling, make sure you're eating. I think that's going to be one of the key things if you're doing the 100-mile or 96-mile event, about 12-mile break. Second segment is going to be a tough one. It's pretty flat for the first half of it, and then you literally run into a wall. On here it doesn't look like it's that steep, but it does pitch up pretty high. So when you're doing this, again, find somebody to hide behind, try to use as least amount of energy you can until you get to the climb. And then when you're riding the climb, you could probably ride it a little bit above threshold once you get to it. Going into the next area, you're going to have a long period in between the second and third segments. Again, I can't emphasize fueling. I think it's going to be super key for you guys. So you got about 36 miles with a pretty good climb. Going into the third segment, this is actually really flat. It shows on here that there's a kick up, but it's not that steep of a climb until you get to the end. So this will definitely be the fastest segment. I think, again, try to find a good sized group. If you're solo, this is going to be a pretty long segment that you're going to have to be out there on your own. So the goal would be really finding a group that you can work with. That's going to help you get to the end a little bit quicker. It is about 7 miles, and that's going to definitely put you in a good spot. And then you're going to have some more downtime period before you go into the last segment. And the last segment is Town Mountain. There is a rest stop right before it. I would recommend stopping there and fueling as much as possible. Town Mountain, it's flat for a small period of time, and then you hit the climb. The majority of this climb is 5% or more, and it's straight up. When I'm doing this, I look at the efforts being pretty close to threshold or a little bit sub-threshold, especially being everyone's going to already been riding for 4 or 5 hours. If you fueled correctly, you should be able to hold that sweet spot range, as some people call it, 90% of threshold. So I think that's what I would target if I was on this climb. That's basically kind of the overview of all the segments. So definitely give me a shout if you have any questions. Again, my name is Coach Owen. I'm with Shott Performance Coaching, and hope to see you guys out there.